fulfill. Because the other study would, like Strano's study, he note of the how ritual norms of wedding is passed through the wedding photography. So he just defined there the norms, but he failed to elaborate what if these norms are passed down, how it will influence the process, the wedding itself. So here, so how does this traditions and superstitions, the what are the benefits and consequences in the wedding itself? So that's
It's not the
outcome.
benefits and consequences that you need
Iba
to
yung
figure out.
Since the biggest concept in your study is communication pattern, can you tell us what is covered in your concept of communication pattern and what are the limits? Kasi ako personally, I get confused if we're still talking about communication patterns or are we talking about cultural symbols or cultural practices? I can hardly make comments because I'm really confused. Hala! So can you set your parameters? What is covered when you talk about communication pattern? Kasi the thing that I saw in your paper is a communication pattern defined by Opinge and Villanueva. This is the only definition of communication pattern that we're using. Which page?
21.
21.
Under dialectics, primarily determined by verbal asserting the point of academic negotiation.
So in my personal understanding of communication pattern, a lot in your research questions are not covered by it. Unless nga, you have your own definition of what communication pattern is.
Ito dito po kasi yung get negotiation.
Can you answer, please?
Explain
Okay,
nyo,
ma'am.
what is communication pattern?
Okay, ma'am, for us, communicate, this is our own definition, which we make from the definitions from the different studies that we read. Communication patterns are patterns of communication observed and practiced by a group or individual in a certain process, act, and tradition. It can be determined by the verbal exchange of thoughts through discourses and interactions, and the communication styles used in conversations, and different signs and symbols used.
So the signs and symbols are not necessarily about the wedding, but about the communication transaction. Yung minsan, yung verbal codes, gestures, yun yung sign and symbols doon, not the sign and symbols in the wedding ceremony.
In the
Nagko-crossover kasi siya ng maiki. Kasi ang nakita akong confusion dito. Yung sign and symbol, napunta sa sign and symbol ng marriage. Hindi sign and symbol sa communication. Di ba like when we communicate, we're using codes. Di ba from the very basic model of communication, we have their signs and symbols na defined in the context of communication. But in their study, pagdating dun sa research question 4 and 5, yung signs and symbols, yung signs and symbols of marriage, not signs and symbols of communication. Kaya ako personally, gulong-gulo ko, paano pasok sa communication pattern yung signs and symbols ng marriage?
Sige, kwento nyo.
So para pong ano po, in pamamagitan po, parang it-determine po yung communication patterns doon, yung negotiations po, yung dalawang parang partido.
Pero
Pinag-uusapan po nila is yung mga signs and symbols, ganyan. So nag-ano po doon yung parang dalawang forces na ano, parang nag-ano po sila, lalaban or nagpapalitan po sila ng exchange of thoughts, ng opinions. So yun po yung parang nagiging communication patterns po ng dalawa regarding or about dun sa signs and symbols na pinag-uusapan nila.
Hindi, yun nga yung confusion nyo eh. Yung signs and symbols na pinapasok nyo sa communication patterns are not signs and symbols in communication, but signs and symbols in marriage that happen to be the topic of communication. Kasi two things na overlap dito eh. Yung konteksto na marriage as a cultural practice, at saka yung communication process, communication pattern as a process.
Ma'am, kung ano po, yung sa negotiations po dun sa pamamanhikan, kung whether po nag-usap yung dalawang partido in a formal or in an
Yeah,
aggressive
that's right.
way.
That's part of the pattern.
Opo.
Including the tone
Opo,
used,
the tone,
and the verbal
voice, opo, the
cues
verbal.
used. Yun nga, yun
Opo.
yung pasok natin sa communication pattern.
So,
But when you push so much of the factors about marriage, nagiging cultural na siya. Nawawala yung communication pattern. Kasi, like in your definition nga, di ba, you talked about signs and symbols, but not signs and symbols in marriage, but signs and symbols used in the communication process.
So, ma'am, if we will going to talk about the signs and symbols in marriage, so it would be...
Kaya nga tama yung push for the move earlier, na-drop natin yung 3 and 4 and 5.
Research question.
So if you stick to communication pattern, yun. Sino usually nag-initiate? Ano usually sinasabi? Do they ask question or they just submit? Yun yung mga pattern. Tama yun. Yung styles na sinabi nyo, yung tone, sinong dominante, sinong hindi. Yung lagi bang dominante yung partido ng lalaki o mas demanding ba yung partido ng babae? Yan pasok natin sa communication patterns. And how every matter to be discussed ends. For example, meron bang naka-frown o para bang napilitan lang na umuo matapos na lang yung usapan. Yun to me, that's very clear as part of communication pattern.
So, ma'am, the symbols would be just be inserted in the research question, the dialectics. It will be just cited, the signs and symbols used.
Kumbaga, at the moment, we cannot enumerate that because you have not observed the transactions.
But we will not define. We will not define what does that symbol. What does the symbol
Actually, based
symbolize?
on the context of communication, you can have a generic definition. And from the actual observation, halimbawa, or documentation, you can identify using the definition. Halimbawa, meron lang gumaganon doon. Pag kayo lang sign na yun, end na ng usapan. Yung mga ganon, di ba? Verbal and non-verbal cues yun. Halimbawa, naging repetitive yung ano. Eh, dahil naman sa amin ang lalaki,
Parang
sign yun or cue rin yan, di ba? Na parang very suggestive of dominance or yeah.
Kasi lang hindi kami naman
Naupa ako na yung magulang mo. Magulo ko kalain.
Ano?
Actually, challenge yun dyan pala, papasok na yung differences ng pamilya.
Kaya magkasawa kayo pag 40 na kayo, wala ng issue ko.
Was together? Was this okay.
Do you wanna build a snowman?
Do you want to be the snowman? Pumasok na naman yung ano
You wanna build a snowman?
Ano yung 3?
Number 3, how do we
How do
revise
we
that?
reconcile number 3? Kasi may
Acceptance
gusto
and
kayong
rejection.
ano eh, palabasin, but I don't think it's really the attached benefits. Kasi we just have to restate it.
What are the
Yes.
Ano yung results ng pag-accept?
Yun nga eh, parang ano yung naging outcome. Or
Or
the
out na lang, outcome is a
Thank
safer
you.
Yung
word.
outcome.
best thesis ako ah.
Kasi kasi yung nangyari doon sa pinsan ko, ganyan.
Outcome na lang.
Bakit sa pinsan mo yung paling sa'yo?
Nag-aayos
Wala
ba?
pa eh.
O nag-resolve pero merong yamot na part.
Oo, na nakasimangot yung biyanan niya, ng babae.
Outcome of negotiations pa?
All throughout the wedding,
Plus
nakasimangot.
there, after the ano, the
After-
pamamanhigan, they can conduct a parang ano, post-pamamanhigan interview. Yun, nakukuha mo yung outcome doon.
Actually, pwedeng
Outcomes, what are the outcomes? Yun lang. Outcomes what?
Or the
Outcomes of or results from negotiations, no? Yun na yun.
Ay, thank you, Lord.
Tapos kung if you consider that benefit and consequences, it's up to your wording na. Pero as
So, ano
a
yung question dun,
rejection
ma'am?
na
What
lang.
is the outcome? Or
what are the outcomes of negotiation? Outcome of negotiations in case.
lagay na lang in terms of acceptance, siguro ganun. Baka lang. Sa inyo yan.
Okay na yan, in case couple
Guide nyo na
families
yun,
accept
ma'am.
or
Basta
reject
guide
is
nyo
very
yun.
Oo,
Ano
yun
siya,
na lang.
outcome of negotiation.
Ginagulan yung attachment benefits and consequences.
Okay, in case couples accept. Ganun different. Okay.
Well,
Ah,
pwede yun nga ako sa naging
Meron ka ba,
outcome.
ma'am?
Kung mag-accept ng project or...
Actually, social judgment na naman ito. Kasi accept, reject. Pero, but sa different ano na lang.
Okay.
You may step out. Wala na po ba kayong gusto? Ano, sa methods, ay sorry, stay ko na. Yung methods nila, kung gusto nyo ba bang
Masyado kayo matindi, may instrument na kayo.
Ay, pinumali ko na.
Ating umari, grabe yung instrument. Meron na, may code sheet pa, may interview guide pa. O, pirmahan na ngayon yan para approve na yung
approval na daw, wala nang kawala ang
instrumentation.
kain.
Eh, mag-a-adjust ng konti, di ba? Kasi,
Kasi mawawala yung
bago
signs
yung
and symbols.
di ba?
Tsaka yung may ano, yung may older couple.
Ah, inasettle nyo na ba yun? Yung 80s, 90s, and 2000s na differentiation?
Wala namang comparison.
Case study na lang. Tapos,
Case study siya dapat.
case study na lang.
Hindi na kasi sinabi.
Ayun.
Anong kulang mo? Ano dapat
Pwede
sinabi
bang
mo?
ano, ma'am 10?
Ito, kay
Wow,
study.
dami.
Ito?
Ito, oo.
Akala ko, ang case
Five
study,
lang.
tig-isa lang, di ba?
Kasi dalawang
Isang
dalawang
copy lang.
yung observe with the preparation. Tapos
Hindi
dagdag
na,
na po yung
lahat na lang. Huwag na kaya yung before.
observation.
Oh,
O lahat
Oo.
lahat interviews na lang. Tapos
Puro
tanungin na
interviews
lang
na
from the...
lang.
Ah,
Sayang din
revision.
yun.
Possible.
Sayang din kasi ma-observe. Hindi
makita,
papaano.
no?
Kung ayaw magpa-observe,
Tanggal saan?
Hanggang
Ano
sa
eh?
ano.
malay yung ayaw lang kayo na present doon, pero papayag naman nag-review doon. Tapos
Ganun
post na lang.
Work na lang.
Kasi
Kung
parang kung
paano.
ako lang magmanigan doon, bakit
Ah,
yun
kayo
kayo
pa,
paano-ano?
Sa akin, hindi ko kayo pa
Yun yung
ano.
worry ko rin.
Kasi hi, ano yan eh, very intimate na
It's a family, ano eh.
negotiation.
Dagdag pa kayo pakakainin.
It's a very private.
Unless you pay me 3 million pesos.
Wow, for rights to observe
Diba?
my wedding. Hari niyo, pag nagpakasal tong mamang to, at part siya ng study niyo, bibigyan daw. Ay, ano nang, ang gusto dito rin comfort. Communication patterns in wedding traditions, di ba? Can we just clean up the title po? Wagas, communication patterns in wedding traditions of selected Filipino families in Cavite. Families in Cavite. Para malina na yung patterns sa loob ng wedding tradition.
So there will be 2 weddings to be observed. Interview. ng
Dalawang
couple.
observe at dalawang
Tatlo pong interview.
Tatlong interview.
5.
Lima eh.
Kung gusto niyo pahirapan sa sarili niyo, sige!
Hindi, tsaka isang ano na lang.
Isang observation.
Isang-
Hindi,
It doesn't matter kung anong
It
decade.
doesn't matter about
Kung
the
anong
decade. Kasi
decade.
wala namang comparison na magaganap eh. Ano na lang.
Nahihirapan lang kayo to force yourself in looking
Di ba
for.
pwedeng ano, yung mga ikakasal pa lang?
Yun po.
Wala. Lahat
Yung
naman.
pong
Yun ang
i-observe
mahirap
po.
Hindi
na
kasi ang
Dalawa
maganda
po.
sa kasal na, doon nare-remember ito. Ay, ito
Mas
si mami,
detail.
ito si
Kasi
ako.
usually pag ikakasal pa lang, overwhelmed po with the
Oo.
excitement.
Pero yung dati, mariremember, ay, nagtampo si mami ng ganito. Ay, hindi umaten si sister kasi. Ano.
Ano ba? Kami.
Kaya yung mga drama na, pinakasal ko ang anak ko.
Pinakasal ko ang anak sa'yo. Akala ko mga paayos siya.
Parang ayos na.
Napaayos talaga. Ano ba? Delivery pa tayo? O na? Na? Do you wanna be a son? Kanta muna kayo ng wagas.
Jasper, baka
O Jessica, kinonta ka na nila para sa tapatan nyo ni Eliza Carle.
Ay, hindi
Hindi,
pa po.
walang usapang iba